PSYCH WARD, Book 1, by Alastair Wilson. Read by Shiva Wilson. PSYCH WARD 2, Piss in the Eye of the Beholder, by Fieros Wilson. PSYCH WARD 2, 5th of November 2016. Task: fill this whole new PSYCH WARD refill pad with 400 pages of paper. Whoops, fucked it up already. Let me start again. Fill this whole PSYCH WARD refill pad with 400 pages of paper. No, that's not right. It is a pucker refill pad, Jamie Oliver notwithstanding. He's probably dead by now anyway, so that reference, even if you got it, which you may, not have. People in a million years who read this book will have no idea what I'm blathering about. Good for them. Bully for them. I had too many bullies at school. I had more bullies than you. I am more persecuted than you. Bully for me. We are already completing magic circles, drawing Mia salmon in there, and fish too, and spunking on it in order to cast a sexual magnetism spell. I put a spell on you, and now... There's no joke there, I'm afraid. What do you think I am, the god of jokes? King Humorous the Great? I think not. These jokes are grating on me anyway. Rubbing, screeching, scratching a cheese grater down a chalkboard. Luckily my cheese grater is greater than yours, for I am arrogant, as you full well know. Let me see if I can write the task out properly, for if I can, that will bode well. Well? Yes, I am well, reasonably well anyway. As well as a cloud can be in an empty, lonely sky. Poor cloud. I'm all right. And remember the and? Sally, I miss her. Anyway, the task. Oh, and the bits of me that aren't all right. That's what you are for, dear Paige. Task. Fill this entire massive, bloody massive, ginormous, gigantic, really, really big refill pad with 400 pages in it, by the way. I hope I'm making myself clear how arduous a task this is, dear bleeders, so you better be bleeding bloody well thankful for it. Right. Fill this refill pad. It is rather large, with words relating to, but not necessarily relating to, PSYCH WARD. The PSYCH WARD. Material. This whole story is material for a book now, isn't it? Anyway, only on one side. I only write on one side because it feels nicer that way. No unnecessary bending. Pure, smooth and groovy writing all the way from left to right. Anyway, fill it all. That's the task. And fill it this time, Wilson. I bailed out about the 300 page mark on the last one, but you weren't to know. So why say it? Why write it? I'm going to use write and say interchangeably, as well as read and listen. Suck my grandmother's dick, you heathen. You fucking bloody heathens. Go! Now get on with reading it. PSYCH WARD 2. I want to reiterate the goals of this book, my intentions for you, I mean, but I also don't want to at the same time. Laziness wins in this case. Laziness is an awesome trump card. A Donald Duck quacker fuck card. And my wrist hurts already, so I'm going to take a break. Sorry, up yours. I've been wanking a lot lately. In the time between finishing the last book and starting this one, there wasn't much else to do. Fresh porn. Ripe for the fucking, plucking, sucking, schlucking. Amen. Praise Allah and so forth. Deep fakery. A fakir. Like when a tapir pretends to be alive but is dead and stuffed. A fakir. Get it? Or what Mr. Spock used to wear. Plural. Fake ears. Please allow me a few moments to empty 6 Starbucks brown sugar sachets into some coffee or other. It won't take long. I promise. I can smell America. Not for the reason of Starbucks. Well, maybe a bit. I did visit Starbucks a lot in New York when I was over there. Ha! Makes it sound like a little business trip or an extended vacation or a working break. It was not. I can smell it though. Perhaps because it's around the time of year that I was over there in 2006? No, 2007. Must have been. September 2007 to December 2007, as far as I'm aware. Then again, emotions, people, memories, and time periods, ovulation blood, have a certain smell, as do peni and vaginus. Vaginus, a cross between a vagina and an anus. The next step in genocidal engineering. Sorry, genitalic engineering. Sorry, I do excuse my tongue. Genetical engineering. Ha! Sounds so friendly and warm-hearted, doesn't it? Genetic engineering. I can smell the penis of the man sat next to me at the moment. It's disgusting. He must have a particularly effervescently overzealously pungent one. Plus, I think he's gay. Gay people's peni tend to be hyperactive in my experience. It comes from all the years of persecution. Now that their peni are allowed free rein, they are of course making full use of the newfound morning glory. I can also smell Nutty Nat and her cleaning gloves and sauerkraut salad soups. But all not yet. Not yet, dear reader. I've only started and I already feel I'm running ahead of myself, saying things, writing things before I know what they mean. It didn't stop me before. I killed Jim. He's dead. I created him. I let him stand upon a rock preaching non-violent principles, his club snapped in two by his feet. I let him reign supreme. Then I forced his nutsack into an icy crevice mid-glacier, and I froze him. I killed him. I killed Jim. It didn't just happen. I did it. I created him from nothingness, out of the dust of the ether, out of some imagined idea. I created him. I let him have his say. I let him dance and play. I let him have all kinds of life experiences. Cool, that guy's penis is really strong. Not in the sense that it could lift a truck with one penis lurch. No, it really stinks. Really stinks. It's affecting my ability to think about Jim. Oh, good gosh, what shall I say? Could you tone your penis down a bit? Could you go to the bathroom and spray air freshener on your crotch? Could you fuck off and take your dirty, spunk and pus-encrusted Japside denial demon out of here and leave my smell buds forevermore? Fuck off, you stinky prick. Ugh. Do women find that smell attractive? Ugh. Yuck. He's rubbing his legs and knees now. That can't be helping the situation. Ugh. At least I know my disgust faculty is still in operation. The only true cure for this smell would be grief. Relief. Ugh! I'm going to have to address the violence of this condensed foreskin smell sooner or later. I think I will have to move. Can you imagine that? Poor guy. Imagine if he came up after I'd moved and asked me what I was writing and why I had moved. Was it because of the slightly cramped position in Starbucks today, because it's busy, because it's a Saturday, because people drink coffee on a Saturday? No, it's because I could smell your cock through your trousers and it was putting me off my stride. I know what I'll do. I'll have a smoke. Then I will be more stinky than he. The smoke screen will envelop me like an envelope for a letter, and I will be undistracted once more, and we can hear about the plight of Jim, preferably to fruition this time. Very fruity, this smell. Right, he's leaving. He's left. Woohoo! I'm still going for a smoke, though. Some of the smell particles still seem to be lingering around. Ugh! Reminds me a little, not a lot, about something that happened to me while I was in America. More on that later. Smoke time. Jim? Sorry, mate. I left the parenthetical realm and now I need a smoke. Please stay there with your nutsack crevice mid-glacier for about 10 minutes. I'll be back soon. I promise. You won't die. I'll be back. Don't worry, man. 10, 15 minutes, 20 at the most. That was said in a sad, lost, disenfranchised tone, by the way. Desolate. Oh, poor guy. This is breaking my heart a bit. Having to leave this imaginary character here, dying because I need a smoke. I don't even need it as such. But now the writing is controlling me, and that will not do. And now a baby is crying in the corner too. I can't always say goodbye. I'm going to reread the whole book so far. Jim will have to stay in suspended animation for a while. That sucks. This life sucks. This book sucks. I suck. You suck. And we still need to traverse down memory lane. And I need a poo. Good God. This is one of those days, isn't it? Jim's dying. Starbucks is busy. I need a poo. A baby's crying. I was recently attacked by a violent penile smell. Very punitive it was too. And I need a smoke. Bear with me, dear pleader. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Hello again. Now I am sad for various submerged reasons. No language play, horseplay, foreplay, or any theatrical production can save me now. For I am sad, and even though I can laugh through the sadness and see the funny side of tragedy, and see that love is really the cause of sadness, or maybe the cause is attachment. Either way, sadness is sad, even if it's funny too. Sadness is sad. Tragedy is tragic. Suffering is pain, and it hurts. I could beat my sadness into submission with a barrage of dead puns, but that wouldn't make it any better, nor go away. There is a scene in an Austin Powers movie, the first one, International Man of Sadness. Sadness all pervasive. Jokes only get you so far. But mid-film, I forgot about Jim. He's probably shivering something terrible now. No shivers for me. I'm warm enough for once. Mid-film, a henchman dies. A minion. Austin Powers runs over a minion mid-film with a steamroller. Runs him over. A joke is made cinematically about why some bad guys don't run away, and how filmmakers manipulate plots and characters to serve their ends. But he gets run over. We see him being sucked under the steamroller, and imagine him being crushed to smithereens, and he dies. He's not real anyway, so it doesn't count. It's a film after all. But then we see the consequences of this death, albeit briefly. There's not much grief, but I watched this film maybe once, twice, or thrice in my teenage youth, and that scene made a lasting impression. I wonder if that henchman's body made a lasting impression on the floor, or the steamroller's giant rolling juggernaut rolling pin. I doubt it. What is a human life in the face of the machine? I dove into the machine that night, a seed of green, to pull its towering mechanical sinews crashing to the ground, and I was destroyed in the sake of it. The henchman's wife. She gets a call from Dr. Evil's personnel HR department. She is informed that her man has been killed, mown down, rolled into a patty cake human pancake by a giant motorized rolling pin. And now he is squashed and flat, and his face now looks like that of a place. What can we do? She has to sit their boy child down as he's doing things, and she has to tell him the news that her husband, his dad, his father has been squashed, or at least killed in an unnamed, rather disgraceful way, and now there is no one to fuck the mother anymore and go to baseball games and hockey practice with. This is grief. It is minor in the film, so minor you could gloss over it if you didn't really care that much for such emotions. You could laugh at it. We do. The film is making a serious point in a rather silly way. We laugh, but if you look deeper, you see, oh yes, this is true. Violence has a consequence. Violence has a consequence, and the consequence is at least pain, trauma, a mild sting, and at the worst, maiming, dismembering, life-threatening injury, long hospitalization, broken bones, organ malfunction, pain, 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 more pain, suffering. And at very worst, pain, 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 a painful, traumatic, extremely painful death for the victim. Then sadness, grief, loss, pain, mourning, devastation, long periods of coping, and life never being quite the same for the loser, the person and people who have lost the victim of violence. Not to mention the potential but not always fully manifested psychological trauma, emotional turmoil for the perpetrator. Traitor! You're a traitor, Fieros! Of the violence. When someone kills someone else, multiple other people are affected, including the killer and the people who surround the killer. I guess God, through Moses, had a point. Thou shalt not kill. Makes sense in some non-biblical, though still rather epic, commanding way, doesn't it? But quite often we lap up violence as though it were sauerkraut soup. Tasty, nutritious, but disgusting and takes a long time to chew. If you're nutty Nat, that is. But more about her later. Will you permit me to take a sip or two or three of my coffee to wind it down a bit from that? My heart is aching and I don't want to overstrain. Permission and justification later. More on that later. In other news, we shan't return to Jim. It was all a lie. I told him I'd be back even though we did return to him. I shan't return to him to set him free. His ball sack is lost now, all iced over, and now a lady is sat next to me, preening and fondling, hand twizzling her hair. So I've quite obviously got more important things to think and watch about. Watch out! The beast is still there. She is sleeping now, but sleeping is only lurking. She keeps one eye open, the unseen brain eye that is housed between her ever-alert ears, and there is no fake ear here. Watch out! Tread carefully. We can see her still, but we don't need to be lured into her lair. She is there, and that's enough. Besides, it's all about choice, lack of choice. We don't want her breathing, red-scaled, hairy, earthy, black wood back to suck us in. If we enter out of choice. We exit out of choice. Entrances and extrances. Enter, exit, no way out, locked doors. But luckily, although I may not have the key, my pen has learned slowly over recent times to pick the lock. Pick the lock. Use a toothbrush. No, that won't do. A paperclip. Yes, a paper pad and pen. A clipboard ticking boxes. Not yet. Gently, gently. It's like stepping on a minecart train roller coaster ride. You get on, it all sets in motion, clocks begin to crank, cranks begin to tick like clocks. Pick the lock, press the magic button, say the magic word, sit there and wait. Bash open the emergency exit door, set off the alarm and return, if you return at all, by choice. Enter and exit at your leisure, for you have a lockpick picking pen. You have the power now. I expended most of my energy credits designated to horseplay and jumping about from cock to boner to Slavridge in the last book, which, of course, par for the corner shop run by... Beep. Look at that word. Beep. You're an ill... Beep. You are one ill... Beep. Now, in pursuit of the latter, of telling the truth and the whole, nothing bollock the truth, in pursuit of telling the truth, in pursuit of telling the sweet, sensuous, delicious, organic, harmonious truth that is true no matter how Winston Churchill said something that I can't remember in all accuracy, but the truth is not the accuracy. The truth is what sits behind the accuracy of statements and theories, schemata, as we try to describe it. Paraphrasing Winston Churchill, the greater and glorious or now, the truth, though falsehood, time, persecution, bastards, ugly, black and broken, black in colour, not in skin, may racially deride, beat, seek to break and batter it, still it stands. The truth, it is there. It sits behind all sentences and death knell sentences. It sits behind it all saying, I am truth, I still stand. I am truth, I am here, I am real, I am truth, there is no other. In pursuit of truth, we will be persecuted. In pursuit of telling, revealing, the revelation, unflooding, unfolding of sandwiches, trousers, neatly pressed by a steam iron roller trouser press, in pursuit of telling truths, we will be persecuted, for falsehood has such a strong investment in itself, in its own survival. Racism, it exists. Plural, plurality. Beep, blackie, darkie, beep, chinky, ginger, twat, woman, inhuman wretch, merbrain, psychotic, labels, labels, labels on different pots and flavours of jam, but all jam. I told a story. In pursuit of telling the truth, the unfettered, undiluted truth, I used the words that transcribed, transgened, transgendered, transcended, went in flux, cross-dressed and double helix, double-crossed, DNA'd against, across my ears, my mind, my brainal cavity. I used the words they used in faithful transcription, faithful to the words they uttered. Utter, utter, utter madness. These are the words they said. You are one ill nigger. Damn crackhead nigger. You're a packy. You're the nigger that started it. And I got persecuted. They shot the messenger. They shot the truth. Why, I cannot tell. As we know, falsehood likes itself so dearly. Dear parole officer, reader, bleeder, grim salamander, the falsehood likes itself so much, it cannot tolerate the look of truth in the mirror, the depression on the face of life, the lies they like to stay alive. They live in us, and we give them credence, clear water, and a revival if they start to slip away into a clearer, truthful water. Don't you think? If you can skip past the bamboozleization, you will say there is a point to be gained, to see within, a point, a speck, a mote, a speck of light drifting in and out of a sunbeam, bouncing off the wooden trunks of life, bouncing into light and falling as a dust bit, a little lifeless bit again. I don't need to read it through anymore. I used to read it through. Oh, now hearing that little phrase, I used to, I feel a tiny twinge, a twinge of loss, something lost, however minor that I used to be or do. Pathos and humos and fieros. We're sitting hand in hand at the moment. I used to read it through because I was scared. I was scared of the present. I needed the past. I needed to know what was in order to feel safe with what is. What is now when there is no past nor future? It is me sitting in the storyless state, telling little snippets of stories and avoiding the giant pubeless mammoth in the room. Was it Jim? Or was it a psych ward preliminary interview? I don't want to go there now. I don't mind crying in Starbucks. It's all right. I've done it enough times, but it's not my favourite. A filter coffee, although the cheapest, less expensive than a tea, it's not my favourite, but it will have to do. My favourite location for pearly tears to roll down my cheek is on top of a mountain in the cool. Chilly but warm on account of many layers of underpants. 2 to 3 depending, as we know. In case! A case of underpants. Case, brackets, closed. To make sure. I used to read it back from start to finish so I could know where I was, so I could know where I am. But what if I was here? What if I am here, always, wherever I am? I am here, here, and the past is in the past, a trail always to be seen from where you are, where I am. We are here, right inside you, right here inside ourselves, beside ourselves with rage. How dare you let go of the past, the old page of yesteryear? Yester, sister, sister, Ward 10, Ward 10, 10, 10, sister. Gavin is shouting again. Again! I swear he only stops to gather breath for his next tirade. Thief! Thief! Gavin is a story, a whole novel, new and fresh and disintegrated all of himself. He is gone now. Jim was a mock red glam, a transparent, translucent red dead herring. We cooked his nutsack for breakfast one year because we'd run out of crispy bacon. Much of a muchness, really. See? See? I skipped away. So close. You saw it. I bet you did. I bet it's all too clear to you, dear, dear, lovely, well-read, well-versed in Fieros lore, dear reader. I'm sure it's all clear. You can see it a mile away. The author begins to trickle down inside his heart, descending tentatively, and then he shouts and writhes and pipes up screaming, steaming drunken, startled, stark raving mad. Pipe! 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 Windpipe! Pipe! And you will see him bounce, skimming a well-thrown stone, a rounded pebble, skimming across the choppy ocean sea, the surface of his pain-filled glory story. But a stone can only skip and bounce so long before gravity has something to say. Gravity. Pulling down. It's not so bad on the seabed floor among the place, among the dead. Surely, it can't be that bad. Can you breathe underwater? Are you snowed under yet? I can't hold it back, the tide, much longer. The moon is pulling. The earth is pulling back. I'd better grow some gills. Plunge. Nope, nothing. You can't do it on demand. You have to sit and shit patiently and wait for the weight to pull you down. Remember the lock-picking pen? Check. Check mark on a tabloid newspaper? Check. Psychotic disinhibited behavior? Check. A tick box present on my clipboard? Check. An observation round to check where patients are and what they're doing? Sorry, how they're doing? No check. A toilet check? Maybe. I lost all sense of my consciousness being located inside my head nor body at one point. But maybe more on that. Maybe. Maybe I should do it now. I can't keep peppering each layer of this multi-story sandwich forever. Forevermore, quoth the raven. Something normal? Something sensible? No. A break. Read it back to feel safe. I don't think I will dive this easily today. I'm making excuses not to touch and free the pain again. Justification, avoidance, explanation. My memory is not good enough. My pen cannot be trusted. Neither can you. My eyes cannot be trusted to re-see such blinding, searing, scathing, burning, scalding words. The dragon, demon, pig, vampire, death-denying, death-defying beast is still asleep. She looks peaceful there. It is not. Wow. Would you like to go to the outback? I'd quite like to write about it quite unpoetically. No such luck. But maybe I can string a few simple sentences together. But I feel my heckles raise, my back, it's putting my back up, my shoulders clenched. Try it anyway. Okay. So, it's 2004. That's when I finished school. But what if I get it wrong? What if I mess up the dates? I will be punished on publication. It's 2004, I'm in school. Now, I'm not. I got AAB in my A-levels. A levels, not B levels. Curse that B. A blot on my perfect scorecard. Perhaps the first, most certainly not the last. Life is real. Life is dirty, mucky, muddy, blurry, dirty. Life is not perfect. That's why I am writing in this style. I do not edit because you cannot edit life. Well, you can and do. It's called denial. Pretending. It's unavoidable to some extent, but for every ugly blackened pane you misrepresent and squash, an equal and opposite beautiful shining rainbow grace dies, is killed. The two live hand in hand. You kill one, you kill the other. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference anyway, so kill them all to make sure. Turn the beautiful rainbow inner landscape murky, grey, pollute the clouds in case. Make it look all normal in case. In case of what? In case of something ugly slipping out, perhaps the truth. In case of something beautiful dragging a little ugly poopy friend along for the ride. Uh-oh, closing time, 7:30 p.m. When one door closes, another one opens. In this case, the coffee shop door closed, all the sugar packets well swept off the floor. Then the pub door opened. I got a John Smith's extra smooth, potentially groovy too, in case you were wondering. I'm sure you were/weren't. Please circle the above word that most accurately represents your level of interest in my drinking habits. My friend Kevlar the Ragamuffin picks his nose and then quickly eats it. You weren't to know. Don't be so nosy. Pick the lock instead. Conscious Nessie, as we are all happily aware. Are you aware of how you use false face-made happiness to mask a pain or two? I'm all fine and dandy. Can't you see it on my face? On the face of it, life looks quite rosy. Delve a little deeper, shit gets ugly. Excavate the pain, delve a little deeper, all becomes shimmering, present, ephemeral, and deeply wondrous. Pain is seen as an aspect of the depths of splendor of the universe's true magnitude. Pain is a splinter in the smooth grain of a well-planed and varnished, deep lustre-lacquered wooden timber pole. The splinter is all part and parcel, beautiful in its own degree, for it exists. Don't rub your vag against it, or your prick. Ah, spoiling beauty with the vulgar. Rah! I'm asking you not to trust me. What do I know anyway? I'm a psychiatric inpatient now, remember? What do I know about life? Unless it ticks a box, fits a well-written schema of madness, for the moment it does not exist. It will exist. I am re-existing it. It will be reborn. As it was denied, so it will have to rise. The deeper you push down a spring, the higher it will catapult a shot. Bang! Like a volcano. Eruption! The deeper you try to push the magma, close off the crater, the higher you will blow your top. Don't do it. Stop compressing yourself. You, dearest, fearless, fiercest reader of Fieros Law, stop compressing yourself and putting your life into envelopes and sealing them off, posting them to yesteryear or the tomorrow of the distant future. Open each letter, as many as you can, slowly. Sit down now and take it slow. Take a few breaths. Get a therapist or a lovely friend, or for heaven's sake your dog, cat or garden plant, and release every little thing you have compressed. Let off steam. Gordon Bennett, let off steam. Let's talk about primary school. That won't be so bad, surely. Well, always a sense of uncertainty with these things, as I say. You never know how many cats will be let out when you open the bag. Maybe a few kittens. Let the cat out of the bag, spill the beans. Okay, one anecdote. I can handle that. I want to ask your permission and justify why I need to. Permission and justification. Just a reminder. Speckled Jim? No, it's Harry now. A little robot me and my friend Fishbert made. A little robot. Harry, I believe his name was. We made him out of a rubber. Back in those days, the word rubber did have condomic overtones, and we did know about such things, but we didn't always make the joke. We made Harry the robot out of a little rubber eraser. It was about 4 millimeters deep, roughly 3 centimeters high, and 1.5 to 2 centimeters wide. We stuck these little pin tacks in his sides and bottom to make his arms and legs. This was the robot part. We put a little fuse, one of those clear-coloured translucent fuses, a car fuse, I believe. We put one of them in his front near the top for eyes. Laser, superpower, robot eyes, as you can imagine. Harry the robot. He had a life of his own. I think it was mine, but he felt shared between me and Fishbert, Chembo too. He, poor little Harry, superpowered Harry, has been immortalized for as long as photographs last in a year group photo. You can see me standing next to Fishbert on one of those benches to make us taller. And there he is. I'm holding him up to the camera. It was sneaky, I know. The teacher would never know. Harry the robot. At the time, he was called Harry, not Harry the robot, because it was taken as a given that he was a robot. I mean, duh. Look at his eyes, for goodness sakes. So there he is. I'm holding him up to the camera slyly, with a happy, gappy, new big-toothed, widening smile, orange curtain hairstyle pushed left or right of the centre on account of my cowslick fringe. And there he is. Fishbert smelled like baked beans or eggs or snot. He had a distinctive smell. It was not exactly pleasant, but if I sniff hard enough in my mind, I could smell it again if I should want to do such things. And this is childhood. And it is sad. Why? Because it is joy that is lost. It is innocence and the ability to play freestyle and believe that because you have put a car fuse in an eraser, you have created a robot. And for the robot to have as much life force as a friend, a game of kingy with a tennis ball, and for it all to be both important and fun. The seriousness and fun, mirth and death merged together. It's all there. Life was eminently copable with at that time. Fun is a serious contender for depression. Innocence and free-spirited play can conquer most rainy days. There's always something to make nor do, even if it takes some figuring, being bored and looking at the rain drizzle down the playroom full-length windowed doors to get there. It can be done! I don't feel quite exhausted by today's session. I don't feel quite numb nor drained, but for some reason it feels like a good time to stop. Feels right. Do I quibble? Do I quibble? 6th of November 2016. What happens if I run out of pens? What happens if I run out of words? What happens if I run out of memories? Wait, let's change the sense of this to put power back in my hands. What will I do if I run out of hands? What will I do if I catch leprosy? What will I do if I lose my lechery? I will become gay by default. For this is how society works in my feeble estimation. If you are not shagging plentiful vagina, preferably attached to a lesser species such as womankind, I am giving voice to the dark side of the suppressive degenerate male spirit. No offence intended, but some men do think that way. Personally, I think that sexuality is nowhere near as cut and dried as we think it is. And to boot, attempting to define your own sexuality in any narrow terms is going to cause you suffering, especially if you strongly attach your sense of personal identity, your pride. Ha! What a word! Pride is a reaction to subjugation, persecution. It's saying, I'm proud, like saying, I'm proud I wear underwear. It only matters and is something to shout about if wearing underwear has been banned, criminalized, socially rejected, and underpanty wearers have been shot on sight in the past. In itself, it's nothing to shout about in particular. Bully for the gays! Ha! The gays have had enough bullying as it is. This is a broad generalization now. Here it comes. In my limited experience, which is limited, I have experienced the gay lords in general, to be extremely sensitive, fun-loving, expressive, and happy-go-lucky people. The archaic meaning of the word gay seems to apply. Optimistic, bright, bouncy, buoyant, joyous, etc. As I say, this is by no means representative. I have also met many moody, cantankerous, irascible, and downright pervy and unsettling queers. I've probably been put in that category myself from time to time. I have an outwardly ambiguous sexuality. I do not toe the line of gay nor straight. I am neither a bender nor a straightener. I float around, being myself, wearing, doing, saying what I want. I sound camp from time to time. I sound deep and burly at others, especially when buying coffee now that I finally know what I want in a cup. I laugh like a girl, I dance like a queer, I fuck like a man, I stand up to threatening behaviour like a Manhattan Mandy. Ha ha! I write songs, which is a beautiful thing to do, which is therefore girly and potentially queer, but I get the respect of my fellow man and occasionally the adoration of my fellow women. I do not ascribe myself a label. Most people are happy to do it for me. I do not associate as gender blind, asexual, pansexual, binary, non-binary, cisgender, pantheistic, atheistic, blah blah blah. I am myself, and I let my sexuality flow where it wants to, where its interest lies. Luckily for me and my criminal record, my sexuality doesn't have any interest in shagging dogs, although this is a shaggy dog story, as we full well know, so that is interest enough. I get the feeling that the world would quite like me to have a neatly boundaried and precise definition, a lovely putrefactive label to hang my sexuality upon. But I can't be asked. I tried being gay. I tried being a rampant heterosexual stallion. None of it appeals. Neither does asexuality. And the most important part is, we don't need a label to function in sexually healthy ways. And besides, if you find the right partner, they accept all the ins and outs of your pluralistic, morphological, constantly fluxing expressions of masculine and feminine energy, the yin and yang. So, fuck it. I can't be asked. You can make your mind up about my sexuality for yourself, and then, whatever you come up with, I won't believe anyway. How dare you try to define me? It's only going to hurt you when I pop out in various ways. Pop out, come out, haha, of the little neat boxes you've tried to contain me in. The human spirit, of which sexuality, sensuality, friskiness, and biscuit eating are all a part, is rather uncomfortable. Let it be so. I think I'm going to abandon all attempts to write a story now. Psych Ward is over. It's good in name only now. We can put all of this from now on under the banner of untitled, unnamed, undefined, miscellaneous. That gives me freedom. Freedom! Freedom is awesome. Lack of freedom is restrictive, and therefore it sucks. I like that I am able to go in and out of Psych Ward material at will. It's much better that way. Confining my writings to a certain length or girth of time between 2006 and 2013, and to have it all centre around my experience of the psychiatric wards I visited, to eat biscuits of course, would make it seem like the defining event of my life, the be-all and end-all. It would reduce my life history to an extended case study of a madman now on the loose again. Watch out! So I am glad you, dear Fieros, yes, you writing the book, have finally let me, Fieros, write whatever we like. Ha! Schizoid conversations with himself. Check. Long hair and unkempt beard. Check. I'd get tired of ticking boxes. I wonder if any of the nurses get bored and start doodling smiley faces on their notes on their clipboards. Ha! It's all close enough for government work anyway. However, Freedom can be a burden in itself. You know, to put a downer on it all again. I lift you up to bring you down. Get down, Dana! Get to the chopper! Sorry, Arnie Schwarzfelder. Sorry. Schwartz. Beep, beep. You are one ill beep, motherfucker. Do you have $10 so I can buy some weed? No. You are one ill beep. That's what he said. I sat a little way down the street from the hostel where I was staying, and I sat there with this damn crackhead beep who kept asking me every 2 to 5 minutes or so for some money with which to buy his next bag of weed. I said, nah, man. He said, you are one ill nigger, and may well have said motherfucker afterwards in a happy, bemused way, excited that I stayed talking to him. He was sweet in a way, that guy. He spun me a million different sob stories, many of which I'm pretty sure contradicted each other, only to end each one by asking, sweetly and soppily, in a quiet, subdued voice, so can you give me $10 for a bag of weed? I said, no. This kept going for a while, a long while. It's like we were both stuck in some time warp, a loop of behaviour that would click over and start from the beginning every 2 to 5 minutes. This has happened a lot in my life, either in my own personal experience of my own behaviour or by observing the life patterns of those around me. There's another very notable time it happened. It was at the Greyhound bus station, but remind me about that one later, because I really don't think the words and memories are available to me right now. They are not adequate nor clear enough to do that scene justice. We will be back. She'll be back. I'll be black. I am the only white member of the Click Ungala tribe, after all, but that's another story. I don't do much with my morning glory. I hold it there, but I don't go far enough to let it make it weep. I piss my tears. It's much more socially acceptable to nip to the loo and go for a piss, not a poo, than to burst into tears every 20 minutes or so. My body has accounted for the pressure to suppress the tear response and has translated it into piss. Tears are basically watery piss anyway, so it makes sense. Or is piss refined, distilled, fermented tears? We don't know. I'm sure a biologist would know. A pissologist. A psychologist. Do you get the gist? A psychologist would get the point of piss. I probably have an anal fixation. My anus is quite fixed as far as I'm aware. I tried to move it the other day. I thought that having my anus in the palm of my left hand would be a more practical place, since my left hand doesn't get up to much. Its schedule is quite limited, and I could wear a glove for hygiene. Maybe that's what Michael Jackson's real secret was. The glove he wore was to hide his secret anus that he had unfixed and transported across his body's skinny terrain up to his hand. So the glove, while beautiful, eccentric, sparkly and flamboyant, was a cover-up for an anus-to-hand job. That was a pretty sweet digression, if I do say so myself. But no, I have an anal fixation. My anus is quite fixed. It will not budge. It's probably for the best. What's the plural of scum? One scum, two scums? No, it's scum, isn't it? Can you even have one scum? No, I don't think so. It's one of those always plural words, isn't it? He is a scum. He eats some scum. She went to visit a bunch of scums. Scum! You are scum. Doo! That wasn't Sally. That was Cuthbert. Too many stories now. Time for a break. Regroup my spirits. They're all floating around in the ether. Too many stringless Mickey Mouse balloons. Give me a minute. Justification and permission. I need a break. Justification. Can I have a break? Permission. A quick point. Neither are necessary. Kiss. Up yours, book perv. I wrote and drew that last page's entertainment. What did the entertainment mean? What did it all mean? What does it all mean? Bit of a tall order for a sequel to answer, isn't it? Sequels have a lot to answer for in my experience. Oh, I get it. I'm cold. That's why my handwriting has gone a bit wibbly. I wrote and drew that last page before I went out to get cold, a little drizzled on, and to smoke puffs of tobacco smoke into my puny, putrefacting lungs. I wrote and drew it in case. I wrote and drew it in case any art and or book pervs came wandering by on their way either to nor from the lulet, the toilet, poolet, and then I could scare them away. But first I had to draw them in, hence the arrows. What I drawed. Draw 'em in and then fuck them out. Get rid of them, but draw them in first, so I can maintain control at all times. Control, denial, avoidance. The dance of avoid. This is probably all an avoid dance at the moment, as flowery and colourful black crackhead snigger? As colourful and nonsensically vaguely amusing as all this dross and filler is from Fieros, he's probably dancing a dance of avoidance. Avoiding what? Depth, humility, truth, power, love, lust, denial? Avoiding denial? Denying avoidance? I never deny anything. Get it? I don't avoid denial. I never deny avoidance. Are you gay? No. Denial, he's in denial. Are you gay? Yes. He's gay, he's a queer, kill him, flush his head down the loo, shout obscenities at him. Persecution either way. Dye the ginger hair by dyeing it, killing it. Dye ginger hair. Blonde with ginger sparkles. Low lights. Black, brown, purple with ginger, orange/golden low lights. Roots. Get back to your roots. My roots are buried deep in the earth, but the earth is rather dry at the moment and my roots are starting to wither. Rooty, old fruity. At least there was no penis smell in this particular Starbucks today. I don't have to tell you everything, but then I'm being guarded. If I tell you everything, I'm exhibiting disinhibited behaviour, so I'll get a check in some box or other either way. Do you see these traps that have been laid? Laid for the bear of the human spirit? Fargo! Bear! Laid bear. Fieros laid, get laid bare. Nude and putrid, wretched, lying there all squeamish and denying it, all as if it never happened. It never exists. Nothing exists, and there is no such thing as denial. This is the best defense. No, I didn't. Also works quite well. I remember you shouting at me and coming right up to my face outside my room and saying, "So, this isn't intimidating to you, is it?" No, I didn't, or emotions and hiding to that effect. I have no target audience. My target audience is the page, and I seem to be hitting it quite effectively most of the time. A lot of the time I write in my head. The words pop in there when I'm away from the page, and then I don't write them. When I write what's there. I write what's there in my head at the moment. In the moment. So it's a minor annoyance that my mind seems to think it's holding a pen to a page even when it isn't. It's a bit like having a song in your head when you're not singing. Better sing it, I say. I say, old chap, get on with it. Get on with what? It. Oh yes, it. How could I forget? It used to mean sex in primary school. I never had sex in primary school. Good for me. If I had sex in primary school, I'm sure it would have been bully for me and even more trauma for me. I'm glad I didn't do it. So there we are. That was all very unsettling for me. I don't know why, but children and sex on the same page feels deeply unsettling. I could blame the mass media anti-paedophile campaign for this, or there could be some instances of sexual abuse in my childhood that have made my anxiety and discomfort mildly more trigger-happy than the average scum. I deeply fear and avoid all behaviours that could get me judged to be a bad person by any definition of the word bad. Even writing about paedophiles, murderers, rapists, psychopaths, gays, arrogance is all rather unsettling for me. Even the words themselves have a painy feeling to them. Back in the day, I would have been torn up inside over having written the above passages. My anxiety would be puckering and releasing, and I would have, oh, fucking hell. My anxiety would have been puckering and releasing, and I would have been so short of breath as to be attempting to suck air in through my ears and bumhole, not to mention my chinky's eyes. The Japanese get a bad rep when it comes to penile slang. I'm sure they'd find it quite offensive if they could be asked to be offended by such things. It's usually not worth being offended in my experience, and being offended can't last forever. Imagine if your last words on your deathbed were, "I am so offended." That probably wasn't a life well lived. Now, I love you all. May you all be safe and well. Cherish the life you have in all its wonder. Seek to find that wonder if you can't see it now. Now that seems like a better set of last words. I am not offended. But that's denial, innit? Innit? Is it? Isn't it? Yes, sir, Mr. Fieros, sir. I'm not going to ask you for permission for what I'm about to do, nor justify my reasons. Permission. Justify your needs. Ask for permission. Authority. Fear. Make up your own mind. The truth, though we may knock, batter, and deride it, still there it stands. Paraphrased from Winston Churchill. This seems a good place to hit pause and have a look around at the world instead. It's closing time again, 6 p.m. today. Where did the time go? Don't worry, there'll be some more time along in a minute. You think it's passing and gone, but there's always a bunch more time around the corner until you're dead, and by that point you're too dead to care, much like Jim. As one door closes, another one opens. It was the same door. I'm being pedanticatory now. I opened the door of the Staines Starbucks branch, then I let it close behind me. Same door. Blah, blah, blah. I went home, blah, blah. I talked to a robot online for half an hour, blah, blah. I went up to my evil lair of doom and started writing. Good. Now that we've all caught up on the latest happenings in Fierosville, let us continue. Or not. Why don't we start somewhere else and see where it leads us? Yes, good idea, dear reader. I'm getting sick of those two words. I hope you are too. Let's start in a bush and see where we go from there. Okay, I'm in a bush. What bush is it? It's a planty type one. Can you give us any other details? Yes. Please give us those details forthwith. Okay, there are green bits around. Yes, do carry on. All right, mate, don't harangue me. I wasn't haranguing you. I felt you were. Please tell me more about the bush you are in. Okay, there are leaves. How many leaves? I don't know. What question is that? Who goes around counting how many leaves are on bushes? Who goes around being in a bush, mate? Me. Fine. How did you get there? I walked. And then what did you do? I climbed into a bush. Why did you climb into a bush? What else was there to do? How should I know? Where were you before you entered the bush? I was next to it. Yes, but okay. Man, this is frustrating. Not my problem, mate. I'm quite happily sitting in my little bush here. So, what are you up to in this bush exactly? Just sitting. Really? Yep. Okay, so why are you sitting in a bush? Why not? Right, how about this? Can you tell me the story of how you came to be sitting in the bush at the moment? I don't really want to. Why not? Because. Okay, fair enough. Is there anything else you'd like to say before I go elsewhere and leave you to your bush sitting? No. Well, that was productive, wasn't it? Sarcasm, by the way. Sarcasm is a mode of linguistic and non-verbal communication whereby the intended meaning is implied by saying the opposite meaning or a grossly exaggerated version of the honest meaning and is conveyed by a sarky tone. Let me be a bit more specific. Here are some examples. Do you like chips? Nah, of course not, in a sarky tone. The questioner is supposed to gather that the responder does in fact like chips, and also that the questioner is an idiot for asking such a stupid question. Here is another. Girl walks into an empty bar. 1 or 2 patrons and the bar staff are present. Girl. Wow, it's majorly busy tonight, isn't it? Bar staff member. No, it's quite the opposite, in fact. You see, in this example, the girl has forgotten to use the sarky tone. Now she looks like an idiot, unable to assess the level of busyness of a pub. I don't much like sarcasm. I find it dishonest and usually quite hurtful to the recipient. Sarcasm is also quite hurtful to the person delivering the sarcasm. This is because the mental tone of sarcasm is resentful, angry, or at the very least irritated. This means the purveyor, sarcasm perv, of sarcasm is carrying around anger, resentment, and irritation, or at least some constituent component of those 3 emotional states. From my experience, anger, resentment, and irritation are not blissful, calm, tranquil, joyous, chilled out, relaxed, and mentally smooth states to experience. They hurt. They're an emotional headache. It hurts your head to have them, but it doesn't hurt in the same way that accidentally bumping into a bar would. It also says it in books. If it's written in a book, it must be right. If they said it on TV, it must be true. If a teacher told you it, it must be accurate. If a mental health professional writes it down in your file, it is the only true viewpoint. Please tick any of the above statements that are logically sound. Please tick any of the above statements you have believed to be correct. Please tick any of the above statements that are a load of balls. I hope for some reason or other you have ticked all the above statements because I told you to. Let's talk about control. No, let's not. My head started to hurt as soon as I even wrote that word. That indicates to me that I have a big issue with regard to this word, behavior pattern, or whatever the fuck it is. If a word, sentence, or relationship gives you an immediate physiological response, it's probably got some shit going on about it. Handle with care. If the objective is to divest myself, of emotional and psychological pain, then the approach should not cause me any more pain than necessary. As I said before, I don't much like pain. Amen. I think there will only be 2 PSYCH WARD books. My mission is to say everything I need to say and feel like saying. And that might not take very long. I feel like the whole book is petering out and grinding to a halt. This is not the end of the world. In fact, it might be the beginning of a whole new world. The world of talking sense. We shall see. Never be too hasty to make wild proclamations and predictions about the future, especially to do with creative work. At one point, I thought this book would end up being 12 to 22 separate titles. Whoops. Then again, if it does end up being 12 to 22 titles and you have bought all of them, having come to the series long after it has been completed, then all this bit about, oh man, it's all nonsense, I'm melting. How will I know when this book is done? Well, I tell you what, let's say it's done when the task is complete. But that's arbitrary, isn't it? So is being born. Get on with it. Deal with it. Okay, let's scurry around inside my brain and look for some topics to discuss. Anger, anger, Gavin, rage. His name was Fred, not Harry. The robot's name was Fred, not Harry. Let us say no more about it ever. Control, manipulation, controlling the flow of thought, controlling the amount of information shared, controlling how many cats get let out of the bag. Well, they can't all get out at once. They must form an orderly queue. They must form an orderly queue. Right. Hello, cat number one. I am not a number. Okay, sorry, cat. What's your name, pet? I am no one's pet. Okay, sorry, dear cat. What is your name? My name is Senseless Anger. Okay. And what do you get up to on the weekends? Fuck you! I like to shout at people for no good reason. And why is that, dear cat? Fuck you! No good reason. Fuck, fuck, fuck all of this. Psht. Click. RSPCA. Hi there. I have a deranged, hissing and scratching cat here. I don't know. I guess it didn't like being kept all cooped up in a bag. Can you come and get it, please, and take care of it? Meow. Yeah, that's it in the background. How long will it be, roughly? Okay, cool. Click. Doo. Put the kettle on, darling. They're going to be a while. Right, any other cats in here? Ah, here's one. Who have we got here, then? I don't care. Where am I? Where's my owner? I miss my owner. Boo-hoo-hoo. Sniffles. Are you lost and disowned sadness by any chance? No, I'm a cat. Where's my owner? I don't know where I am. It's all so sad. Right. Darling, I reckon we can handle this one by ourselves, yeah? Cool. Well, I let a couple of cats out of the bag. I am not, however, going to count nor name all the beans I spilled in Psych Ward 1. It doesn't feel necessary anymore. It's a bit of a shame for you lot, though. Ooh, shame. That's a big cat, isn't it? I wish different aspects of my personality wouldn't interject all the time. The zany part seems to have endless enthusiasm for butting in with random comments. Are these parts of my personality? Are they emotional reservoirs being allowed expression? Are they a bundle of alley cats roaming the streets and meowing too loudly for their own good? We will never know. Can we get a stable narrator in here, please? Sorry, sir, she's out to lunch. Anyone else in the office available to read out Fieros Wilson's autobiography? He can't be bothered to write it anymore. So, in fact, we need a ghostwriter. Make up your own joke. Use your imagination. Ooh. Anyway, let's see if there are any other stories to tell. I know what one problem is. It's too light in this room, so things in the room are distracting my peripheral attention. The page feels a bit bland and amorphous among all the other things I could be looking at and writing on. The walls, for example. Right. I turned off the main set of lights and put on a little lamp. However, now I am aware that I am being minorly distracted by the sounds outside and downstairs. Again, my consciousness seems a bit thin and widely spread. Let's put ear defenders on. Good idea. That's better. I wonder if the words sound more silent to you now as well. Let me know somehow. I tell you what, I'll let you know when I take the ear defenders off. You tell me afterwards whether the words in between me putting them on and me taking them off are any quieter in your mind than the bits that become before and after. I'll let you know. Twat, ginger, tosser, wanker, wankstain, potty mouth, bell end, loser, tosser, cunt brain, cockfuck. I've still got them on, the ear defenders. Now, I don't know whether the above swear words are something I'm picking up from the ether in a psychic way, or if they are things I've been called in the past, some very recently, i.e. yesterday. They're a bit annoying. I've been called all of the above swear words, maybe not cunt brain, and I'd really have to strain to think of an actual instance where I've been called a potty mouth, but no, I found one, so that's fine. Let's put down some more. Ginger, gingerbread man, cunt chops, cunt lips, twat head, fucktard, sausage wangler, queer, homo boy, gay boy, knob cake, tosser, ginger tosser, carrot cake, carrot top, ginger tosser, cock, dickhead, twat face, knob jockey, manic, mad, insane, schizo, psycho, sex pest, creep, prick, arsehole, freaky weirdo, scum, dirty hippie, perv, ugly, idiot, ginger pubes, ginger bollocks, Ed Sheeran, puff, puffter, psychotic, not well, ill, one ill nigger, the nigger that started it, pedo, unhinged, weird, fat. All right, that will do for now. I don't know how you feel about the fact that I've been called those names because you haven't told me, but I hope that if you were here, you'd say, "Oh, I'm sorry they said those things to you. They aren't very nice. Are you okay? I'm here for you if you want to talk about it." And that would be very lovely of you. No such luck. Such are the limitations of a book. I get to say everything I want. Nor. Okay, Fieros, shush. I get to say everything I want and need to, which is great, but I don't get any immediate sympathy, empathy, or reply to any question I have asked. This sucks from time to time. There is only so much delving one can do by oneself in a pucker refill pad, even if there are 400 pages to delve into. That stuff might sound all a bit self-pitying, a bit self-pitiful. And what? Anger, defiance, assert my position. And nothing, dearest. How are you feeling, my love? Compassion, genuine inquiry into my well-being. Well, not too bad. A bit angry, really. And that's where the dialogue stops. Why? Because I am afraid of anger, and I really don't want to show you the full extent of my rage. Number one, it's not necessary. Go watch a bull being taunted by a matador, you'll get the idea. And number two, oh man, this is too hard. Whiny. The child being forced by mother, father, teacher, primary caregiver, grandparent, or whoever to do something against the child's will. Because it's good for you. I'm sure this is how a lot of sexual abuse is justified. In fact, I have read accounts where the victim believes it's a good thing for them to be abused, and they come to need and crave it. Ugh, Stockholm Syndrome, it's that thing. Sympathizing with your torturer, your abuser, and whatnot. I once made a flip comment, a glib, offhand comment. Well, I wrote it down and then said it. In a stand-up comedy set I performed once. I wrote, then said, I wish I'd been sexually abused as a child, because now my life would make so much more sense. But I can't for the life of me remember any specific instances of sexual abuse as a child. Yet I have this eerie feeling something did happen to me. So weird. Then again, I won't go into what I could have said then because it would infringe upon other people's privacy. Ooh, I seemed a bit cagey then, didn't I? Maybe I'm touching on a raw nerve inside myself. Well, that's for me to know, and for you to... I'm getting scared now. You will have to come with me. This is real, you know. I'm not playing a character now. This is real fear. Okay, it's containable and it's not going to throw me off balance. Phew! But it is there. Real fear. Terror, even. Terror. Actual terror. The terror of abject loneliness. The terror of social disconnection. The terror that this book itself may be used as grounds or evidence for yet another mental health institutionalization. I feel like a political prisoner and I haven't even done anything. I'm sat at home writing in a pucker pad, being afraid of my readers and their unpredictable, potentially persecutory behaviour. And unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it. Once this book is published and distributed, there is literally nothing I can do about who buys it, what they think, what they feel, what they say, what they do in response to reading it. How is that for loss of control? I thought we were supposed to be in control of our lives. Isn't that what separates us from other animals? Free will, intelligence, control over our destiny. The amount of control we have is exceptionally minute. I had no control over the train that I heard go by. I have no control over the sunrise and sunset. I have no control over who I will walk past on the street tomorrow. I have no control over what someone will say when I ask them a question. I barely have any control over what I say when I'm asked a question. I have no control over how many bubbles there are in my lemonade. If I had an intense need to control every aspect of life, then the above paragraph would be freaking me out right now. It is a little. Fuck! I'm a control freak! Everything must be arranged in neat little rows. Look, look, I'm writing words. Letters in neat little rows. I'm a control freak. Mate, you're not a control freak. You're a nutter. Oh, all right then. Sarky tone. I tell you what, though, my eyes feel a bit worse for wear. There's something weird about this second book. I don't know. I mean, weirder than before. Creepy, almost. Perhaps I'm going deeper into my own dark side than I feel comfortable with. I don't know. I felt like I got to know the old book. I listened through it a lot, and in a weird way, it made sense. This one, I don't know. Outside of my book writing, I feel a hell of a lot more like myself. Something has shifted. I felt it a lot today. I feel brighter. My energy feels cleaner. I feel like I know who I am a bit more. Like, before I was always trying to recover a sense of who I am or who I was when I first discovered who I am or who I was. Like, lately I'd been feeling that I was playing a lot of characters, and I don't mean in writing and video work, but also in my social life too. You know, being what other people need me to be. I even feel like I'm doing it now as I write, that this is not exactly my true voice. Right. I think I've discovered something about my true voice. It is silent, or at least toneless, or very, very quiet. I'm still wearing ear defenders, by the way. You see, much of my writing has a certain tonal quality to it, an emotional underpinning, and a precise inflection with which it is intended to be delivered and received. But maybe my true voice doesn't have that aspect to it. Here's a quick example to try to help you understand what I mean by the tonal quality of your internal voice. Think about your spoken voice. Have you ever had one or more of these following realizations or observations? I just said what my mum always says. I just said what my dad always says. I didn't realize I felt that way until I heard myself say it. Saying goodbye made it feel a bit too real. I don't like the way I sound on tape recorder or video, etc. Showing my age now. I sound like my friend at the moment. I say more sarcastic or hurtful things than I really want or mean to. If you know what I mean by any of the above, then you have some awareness of your own internal monologue, dialogue, trialogue. But I believe, for whatever reason, that there is one unified voice behind all of the tones and shades of our internal voice, and it allows for all the others. This is probably the voice of silence and stillness, of tranquility, serenity, and dare I say it, the voice of God. Maybe the voice of the river is better, or a still, gently rippling lake. If it could talk, it probably wouldn't say much, and it would probably say soothing things. There, it'll all be better soon, and Mummy kiss it better, stuff like that. That sounds nice, eh? Unfortunately, some knobcake keeps chucking logs and stones and dogs and thrones all splashing about into the lake. Nuts to him or her. I'd like to primarily live and speak from the voice of the lake. Cool, warm, refreshing. And take occasional trips out to see what the land, humans, and animals have to say. The lake is peaceful, still, restful, replenishing, reflective. Land and activity, people, places, things are dynamic and exciting and dramatic. Fun! but I'd like to have the spirit of the lake with me while I frolic about all over the place. The spirit of the lake or a lagoon? Not too cold though, and no piranhas. I can't abide piranhas. I hear stars, the stars, space, a whale call. I hear a cool breeze. I do hear the ocean swelling and swaying beneath the surface. Oh yes, I do hear the depths of the ocean, but they are reflected, seen, not swam in. I hear dolphins and fish. I see a bleak sunrise or sunset. It's all a bit shimmery. I hear Moses parting the ocean, pushing hard, parting waves. I hear the ocean getting smaller, maybe drifting to shore, melting, a dolphin snoozing, calling, resting. Well, that's a demonstration of how I hear music these days. I hear it visually. I get powerful imagery. If I'm really tuned in, it feels like the music is the image. There is no difference between the two. The one is an equal and synchronized exact expression of the other, but with no sense of two things joined. One powerful, moving thing. I love it. I have to really step back from the music and pull back from emotional investment in the music, though. It's weird. Somehow pulling back, retreating, going into stillness, hearing the music from afar in my mind helps me hear it more clearly. Paradoxically, from that detached place, I feel it much more deeply. Weird. Weird but lovely. I also pay a lot more attention to the meaning of lyrics nowadays, too. I think this is because I have more mind space in which to fit all this stuff. Bang! Yeah! I don't listen to music that much. When I do, it's very focused and very attentive. Very moving, energizing, fun, or annoying, depending on the place the music is coming from. At a push, I can feel my way into enjoying and grooving with all kinds of music. It takes a little time and the willingness to connect. Then again, my connection with specific songs, bands, and artists waxes and wanes, degrades, relaxes, revives, thrives, and starts all over again in a slightly different combination next time. Fair enough. It's my natural inclination to tie up loose emotional ends that are flailing about. I've got to say everything I need to say, especially once I've started talking, and that could take hours. Luckily, most people need listening to way more than I need to talk, so I don't have to chew anyone's ear off that often. Although it would be nice to be heard a tad more often. Okay, I've stopped being codependent to the reader now. Weird. Who am I talking to? Who am I writing to? Who am I asking these questions to? Really and truly, it is myself, and at best, my perception of a future reader. That is all it is. I am talking to myself and my idea of you as a reader or listener. I don't know. It felt like I made a genuine connection with you back there. At least I didn't have to leap through the page and murder you like I did in the last book. What is this book about anyway? No idea. I forgot the title. I let a few cats out of the bag by accident while I turned my back and listened to Celine Dion. I lost the plot. I lost the title. I lost control. And it was all rather lovely and floaty, wasn't it? Lovely. Right. Psych ward. Damn it. There was no closing time at home. Can you hear a change in my tonality? It feels hushed, mushed, a bit scared, and a bit cautious, a bit angry, a bit protective, a bit cautionary. We don't want to wake the beast. Medication. Medication time. Medication. Medication time. 7 a.m. Man, how early is this medication time? I'm still in bed. A hospital bed. Sure, it smells fresh and clear enough, but not a smell I'd necessarily choose out of choice. Mate, there is nothing here I would choose out of choice. Ha! Who chooses specifically to enter a psychiatric ward voluntarily? Quite a few people. Here's a quick example. 1 sec, it's pretty loud. Patient. I'm informal. I can go home whenever I want. Now let me out. He pushes the male nurse. Black skin colour, not that it makes a difference to anything. Nurse. Calm down, Ian. Calm down now. Please don't be so aggressive. Patient. Well, let me out then. Let me out. I'm going home. I'm informal. It's a shame I can't remember the content of the conversation entirely accurately right now. However, knowing how my memory works, a first snapshot recollection usually leads to more details being revealed later. And remember, these memories do have a sting to them, so part of the process of shutting off their recall is automatic. It's cool. My subconscious only gives me as much information as I can handle at any one time. Smiley face. Nice going, subconscious. Woo! Go subconscious. Rock on, man. You're doing a good job. A great job. Then again, it does often supply me with too much information to write down, codify into language. It's a flurry of activity. I don't know, a bubble or 3 or 4 in some porridge. The porridge flips very quickly, lets out some steam, and then sits quietly for a moment. Then I turn the heat down and go, right. How many oats were plopped up into the air then? Can I describe them all? Nah, I can barely remembering all of them. I can remember seeing one memory pop up into my mind though. Then it's a case of how much other nonsense and silly voices are there in my head at the moment? Is there time to write it now, or can I complete the current sentence first? Hence why occasionally massive fits of random words burst through the surface of the text as we go, as I'm sure you've noticed. You want to know, however, that most of them, those random eruptions of randomness, have specific historical events, personal history I mean, attached to them. They are little markers. The pubes thing was an actual game I played with a girl who was my girlfriend at the time that we played the pubes game. Yes, we played it. It was fun. We made it up. We played it. Now you may too. You don't have to use the word pubes, and I'm sure somebody else must have made it up before us. Well, whatever. It's avoidance via word association. Give it a try. I can't think of any other random words. Wait, I can. Here we go. Mushroom cloud. Right. I had a dream once that was very similar to the one that the character Sarah Connor had in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. The dream of the nuclear holocaust and the whole world being blown, blasted into oblivion, whiteness, fire, bones and all that. Well, I had that dream and there is more. Hold on. I use that imagery for myself every now and then, maybe once or twice a week or once or twice a fortnight. I use the image of having swallowed an atomic bomb or sat right next to it or on top of it and being instantly blasted into death. It is the most instantaneous death I can imagine. Even a gunshot to the head feels like there would be a noticeable instant of pain. Whereas with an atomic bomb, to my mind, death would happen so fucking instantaneously that there would be absolutely no chance whatsoever of feeling any pain. Full stop. Why do I use it? I feel it blasts all my concerns, aches, pains, emotional turbulence or turmoil, energy disturbances, and if there is such a thing as an energetic ether or aura, which I happen to feel as though there is, then it feels like this imaginary blast destroys all negative, unconscious, hurtful energy and clears the air. The atomic blast in my head is an energetic one, in that it doesn't affect physical geography, people's bodies, houses, etc. It clears emotional, psychic, psychological, spiritual, energetic negativity out the way. I also sometimes imagine playing with lightning and zapping things. That can be quite fun. Actually, my favourite one is when I'm really angry, but my anger transmutes into power. The power to dispel darkness, fear, and hurtfulness. I find it becomes electric and fiery. A circle of light and energy surrounds me. Magic too, by the way. I go, Rah! And wield this massive lightning-y force field, lighting up the world and the surroundings with colour, dispelling all shadows and meanness. Rah! A bit like Bruce Almighty setting fire hydrants off at will. That power, but more lightning-y and magically and colourful and only mildly more responsible to the people affected. This is the inner landscape, people. Now, some of you nutters out there will be mentally punishing me for even having an imagination like this. You will be calling me crazy because I have an imagination I think is real. Well, whatever, man. It's more enjoyable to have an imagination and much more fun to believe some of it is real. If it doesn't affect you, then fuck off, mate. Leave my imagination alone. It's usually pretty respectful of other people anyway, so give a guy a break. Jeez. Persecuting the imagination? How do you think shit gets invented. Films made. Cars designed. Systems developed. Imagination, mate. It's awesome. Literally. And it's so much fun to play about with. No wonder you're all such boring dullards. Look, here's an activity for fun and maybe even well-being. Take 5 minutes minimum per day to actively daydream. Actively. I'll do it too if you like, all this coming week. It's Monday tomorrow. I'll do 5 minutes of timed active imagining, daydreaming with you all, alright? You can do more if you want, but 5 minutes is doable by anyone, even an idiot like you. I have no shame in treating my readers with contempt. They've got to learn to step back from their opinions and loosen their stranglehold on their minds and perceptions somehow. And I'm the man for the job, even if I have appointed and hired myself without anyone asking. Oh, stuff you, I'm going to bed. Reader 1. What did we do wrong? Reader 2. Nothing, he gets ratty when he's tired sometimes. Reader 1. How do you know? Reader 2. Just guessing, mate, just guessing. Bunch of bastards. Z. 7th of the 11th, 2016. Hello, bastards. I feel I may cry today. I'm sitting next to a rather attractive woman today. She's typing away, doing highly important and strenuous laptop-based tasks. You can tell by how loudly and defiantly she is striking the keys. Tap, 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 tap. Absolutely. I second that motion. Good tap, well made. On account of this attractive woman, blonde and full of breast, thousands of bosoms she has, all rolled into neatly, perfectly dangling, hanging droplets of womanliness. On account of her and the close proximity of her to me, I'm mildly self-conscious of the smell of my penis. As you would be, if you had a penis, that is. Yeah, I hope there are no pungent, overzealous, effervescent scents escaping nonchalantly from beyond my trouser crevice. Poor Jim. We are close to forgetting him. You're always in my heart, dear Jimothy, the non-violent Neanderthal. And I hope they, the sense of penile wonderment, I hope they are not casually invading this wonderfully bosomed girl's nasal cavities, her nostrils. Fucking hell. Nostradamus! Nostril! Damn us! Damn us, nostrils! She'll be fine. I haven't washed, but since it is winter now and all, I have the requisite level of underpant protection on. Always wear protection. 3 to 4 layers of winter crotch protection if your trousers can withstand it. Pantyhose notwithstanding. I don't know what the word notwithstanding means. Well, I do. It means doesn't have a bearing or impact upon-ish. It's like obsequious. I have no idea what that means either. Ostensibly. I do know what that means. At least I seem to anyway. High-powered, important, strenuous jokes here on the page today. Shall I cry? Yeah, go on then. I might need to dilly-dally around, pussyfoot about the topic of crime before I get around to doing it. It! I'm going to change the meaning of it for the moment to mean cry. Crying, a cry, to cry. Let's get on with it. Okay, now the two sublimated meanings, the covert secret meanings of it, are having a fight in my head. Does not compute. Sex and crying. Sex and crying. It and it. Bah! They can't both be it. Sex. Crying. I have cried while having sex. Have you? I'm hearing mostly a no from you on that one, but as I say, you are only my idea of you. So what would my idea know? I've no idea. Right, let's do it. Let's have sex. Me and you right here, right now on the coffee shop table. I'll bend you over, lay your back upon the dark grain of the coffee table, smother you in coffee beans, the healthy smothering, pour a bit of lukewarm filter coffee over your luscious labia lips, and insert my penis in numerous thrusting ways. How about it? I'm so glad she, Mrs. Tap Tap Typey, is not a book perv. I don't know if I can cry here today. I know what I might be able to do. I might be able to let a few surreptitious tears drizzle down my cheek in an inoffensive way. Ah, Fieros, I'm so sorry to hear you feel like your tears are offensive. Crying is not a bad thing. Yes, but crying in public is a bad thing, as we have been told. It starts in childhood. Baby in pram cries. Mum or dad or both say, shh, don't cry. Shh, there, or whatever. Baby grows up, becomes a widely knowledgeable 4-year-old. Oh God, she did that thing that Sharon Stone did in Basic Instinct. The old slow and smooth, seductive, purposeful leg open. Fanny out, leg crosses over, fanny in, leg rests in new position. The grand reveal. Good God, luckily I saw it from the side, out of the corner of my eye. If I'd seen a full frontal, whoa, good Lord, it doesn't bear thinking about. I wonder if she would bear with me this holy sexy night. Probably not. Fanny! Let's get back to it. Not sex, we can do that later. Sex. I mean crying. One track minecart mind. Bang! Expect the slazenge expected. Now that my fanny fluster is calming down, crying. I need a piss. Ah, remember, I piss my tears. There is piss in the eye of my beholder. I'd much rather piss out tears from my eye sphincters than out of my bum. Let's do it. Cry, cry, cry. Full steam ahead, Bennett. If you haven't seen the film Commando starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, then you won't know what this let off some steam Bennett reference is. Get on it. Cry, cry, cry. Chocks away. Fly. Cry, cry. What is it to cry? Let's fanny about on this for a moment. Crying. Little droplets of piss leak out of the inner eye crevice. I remember when I was about 12 years old, I thought to myself, and maybe even told someone else, my mum for example, that I was so proud of myself for not having cried for as long as I could remember. Now that's sad, isn't it? A little boy being proud of suppressing a natural response to tragedy. I think it is. It is sad. Probably not sad enough to make me cry, however. She has a mole. A pet mole on her right forehead. I don't like moles. I had one expunged, exterminated, erased from my right chin when I was about 13. I blagged that it was affecting, or at least going to affect, my ability to shave. But the truth was I didn't like it and it was growing big black hairs. That's weird, isn't it? Moles are little bits of the head, the scalp, that have broken free, gone for a wander and taken up residence somewhere else on the body. Like a certain bumhole we know, eh? It was my first and hopefully my only foray into facial alteration surgery, or in fact any attractiveness surgery. I have no tattoos. I felt the need when I was 18. My friends and girlfriend's friend had them, blah blah blah, but I don't know. I thought of a few ideas and meh, nothing seemed to stick. I think I exhausted my need for tattoos when I was younger. You know, them stick on ones. Wash on, wash off. You know the ones I mean. I had a fair few of them. She has gappy teeth and is too tall, too. And now the bloke to my right is occasionally touching his crotch, hopefully to eradicate a stray bumhole that has become unhinged. Get back in position, you! Scratch, scratch, scratch. Oh, yeah, crying. We will get there. Sad stories make me cry. I really have to work at crying. I have to lower my 40,000 volt electrified fence, shed a few scales from the beast's impenetrable back, and let the vulnerable, snivelling creature get on with his little games. There's nothing wrong with crying. There's nothing wrong with sadness. There's nothing wrong with crying in public. Sadness is sadness. So what? Crying is crying. Crying! We don't have to make a big hoo-ha about it. A song and Avoy dance. This is what I loved about the recent Pixar film Inside Out. I love the fact that it finally gives the inner landscape some credibility. I love that it shows that emotions are acceptable and valuable things. They are informative, they are guiding, they are natural, they exist, they play a part. Sadness is the chronically suppressed underdog emotion. Shh, don't be sad, don't cry, don't mope. Big boys and girls don't cry. If anything, the bigger you are, the more tears you can hold, surely. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. The bigger you are, the harder it is for your tears to fall. Now that's sad. I find it sad that adult people, feel as though they are not allowed to cry, especially but not limited to men. Then again, there has been and there is still ongoing a male liberation of the tear response. I'll tell you why it sucks, why it's sad. Because unexpressed tears are stored pain, in my opinion, and unexpressed pain is pain, and pain begets pain. The more you hold on to it, suppress it, the more it grows, the more it hurts, until one day you burst. You kill someone, you kill yourself. You erupt violently at someone, you turn to drugs, you become alcoholic. You ruin your financial and family life via gambling addiction. Your head literally pops off and rolls away. This is sad because it is largely unnecessary, especially because given the right emotional environment, one of support, attention and compassion, crying can be a wonderful thing, a cathartic thing, like going for a big shit. Ah, relief. You feel lighter, happier. That's the point. So many of us have got emotional constipation. We need to drop a few logs, plop them out, jettison them, get rid of them. Tears are supposed to come into the body through the bumhole, travel up through the spine, collecting bullshit and negative energy, discordant, unhappy, bullshit experiences, bullshit emotions, and then piss their way out of the eyes, deliciously. There is nothing more delicious than a good cry. I used to cry a lot. Unfortunately, this is psychotic disinhibited behaviour to some clipboard carrying scums. Scums! They're asleep now anyway, so they can't hear me. Ha! I win! I win! I gambled with insanity and won. Blessed are the nutters, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are the nutters, for they shall inherit the truth, the Holy Bible. Here's the thing. Now that I've spoken about crying so much here today, although I haven't done it yet, I feel I've opened it up, and so I may be able to get on with it later. Listening to Celine Dion usually helps. Let's look at how we use words in slang/common parlance. 2 words, gay and sad. Both have been used in the past, and I'm sure they're still being used frequently to mean bad. Gay equals bad. Sad equals bad. Examples. Guy gets a parking ticket. Ah, gay. Girl sees a shifty looking bloke. Look at that sado. Girl sees another guy holding hands with another guy. Oi, gay lord. Girl sees guy sitting alone at the bar. She says to a female friend, ha, that guy's well sad. What a sado. Gay is bad. Sad is bad. That is the unspoken unconscious association being made. Also, parents trying to shush children. Men shifting about uneasily when a gay couple come into a bar or coffee shop. Gay is bad. Sad is bad. Don't cry. Don't be gay. My friend Joseph used to use gay as a manipulation tactic to get me to do what he wanted me to do. Example. Joseph. Come to the party tonight. Me. Nah, man, don't have any money. I want to stay in. Joseph. Come on, man. Don't be gay. Gay is bad. Gay is undesirable behavior. Do you see what I'm getting at? Have some thinking time on the topic of gay. More thinking time. Sad. You know what I said? You know when I said at the beginning of Psych Ward 1 that one of my intentions was to normalise any mental health concerns or conditions you might have? Well, here's what I mean by that. I want to help you feel less crazy. I want you to look into my pages and go, oh, I'm so glad there are other nutters out there. I want you to feel okay with your own self, your own craziness. So many people are unsafe with their emotions and their eccentricities, their idiosyncrasies, that they feel ashamed to have them. It's all a matter of extent of harm, in my opinion. If your penchant for mustard-flavoured toothpaste doesn't harm anyone, then crack on, I say. If your penchant is for killing babies, stringing them up with string from the ceiling and then fucking them in their gorged out eyelids from a tremulous stepladder, then, you need help. You need a long jail sentence. You need to never be allowed to see anyone ever again. Well, maybe not. But you need to be kept away from Joe Public for sure. So, that was unsettling, but not as bad as usual. That example is so far removed from anything I have never done. I didn't do it. It wasn't me, officer, I swear. That I don't feel personally implied by the above back passage. My paranoia stems from the fear of being called a bad person, from the fear of being a bad person, fear of harming others, fear of being called bad in any way. Also, I fear any perceived similarities between me and a bad person. Example. Hannibal Lecter is a cannibal. Hannibal Lecter is intelligent. My paranoid, fearful thought process. I'm intelligent too, therefore I must be a cannibal. This is weird, but this is the odd conclusion that fear-based thinking draws. Again, we're delving into the dark side in order to bring light to it, expose it to the daylight like a vampire and watch it crumble into dust. But I'm still scared. Sadness is not the only emotion to cry about. Fear is a good emotion to cry about too. I can get along with that. When the Twin Towers were destroyed, the scenes of the jumpers from the towers created imagery in my mind of poor little fuckers cowering in the corners of office cubicles, hiding from flames in states of pure terror. So terrifying a prospect, so terrifying to them to be burned alive that jumping to a free-fall death and splat, crunch was a better option. To be fair, falling through the sky seems rather fun in comparison to being devoured slowly by skin-melting, blood-boiling, eye-popping flames. Unfortunately, not all those in terror had that bright idea. Power to the jumpers, man! Now that's sad. I feel it. Poor little buggers. Poor little blighters. I can't imagine that fear. I can't imagine that fear, and when I get even 30 feet away from it, I begin to weep. Things in the world have never been the same since September 11th, 2001, in my opinion. The climate of fear, although we may try to ignore or deny it, is still there. The trust of our fellow humans has been weakened globally, I think. This is not gay. It is bad. I don't like it. I don't like being made by an atmosphere to distrust the people around me even a little bit. I don't like it. It sucks. Bring on the swords being turned into plowshares, I say. Bring on the lion lying down with the lamb. Let's do it. Let's make it happen, people. Sometimes I look around at the world and I think, this is not the world that I need. This is not the way the world is supposed to be. I didn't create this world. I want humanity to give it all another try. I don't care if we fuck it up a bit, but a new world has got to be better than this. Even a little better. Let's all stand up and say definitely, like a grizzled Neanderthal upon a mountain rock. Let's all stand up and say, I want a better world. I want a better world. I want a better world. I need a better world. I need a better world. And I stand here prepared to do my best to make it happen. I want things to be different, and my view may be different from yours, but where we agree, let's make it different together. Let's create our own world in our own image of our world. Let's put our say to bear. Let's fucking stand and say, we don't know what we want, but we want to make it. Now, we are prepared to make a difference. We want to make it better. Let's do it. Let's stand together and say, this doesn't work. Let's make it work better. Let's do this thing. Look, that's what an artist does. He or she looks at what he or she's done and goes, do I like it? Is it good? Is it right? Is it what I wanted? And if the answer is no, then he or she can choose to get rid of it or change the bits that need changing to start again and move the world in tiny increments closer to a desirable vision. Too many of us have clouded vision, clouded to the extent that we don't have any vision. We only have the visions we are supposed to have, the visions we have absorbed from our collective culture, the media, friends, family, company visions. These visions are largely undecided. These are collective visions we have treated as personal visions. We have, by and large, not internally voted on our own vision for ourselves, our families, our lives, and our planet. We have done what everyone else has been doing, and we have not sat back and asked, is this my true vision for myself? Is this what I really want to be and do? We may have voted on our politicians and had our say at work at various meetings, but have we voted on and mobilized our own visions into action? I have, a wee bit. I had to become insane, locked up in a psychiatric department, and be suicidally depressed for years in order to let go of society's vision for me. But I got there. This book is one minor expression of that vision. This is one reason why I quit uni and stopped being involved in humanitarian campaigns. I know that might sound odd, but hear me out. I realized that my social activism lay in the full realization and expression of my creative talents. My skill base is in creativity and the arts. This was an early decision I made for myself. I said, I want to do my band. I want to do my creative subjects. And so I did. No one else told me to do that. In fact, everyone who had an opinion advised me against following my dreams. That's sad. Teachers, friends, girlfriends, family, all and anyone. Don't follow your dreams. Play it safe. Get a job. A nice stable career. La la la. But at a certain level of self-knowledge, probably gained from a lot of time spent alone in my room writing songs and poetry, at a certain level of self-knowledge, the self says, no, This is what I want. And there is nothing that can defy that. If you can reach that place inside you, sit in meditation in solace and say, what do I want for myself? What do I really want to do with my life now? If you can get there, go to it. Get there. Go to that place. Find your inner resource, the inner pool of truth and passion, desire and fucking gah. If only you knew what I mean. That place has such energy. It is indomitable. It is the human spirit in its dynamic, powerful, life and world-changing, earth-shattering, block-busting, juggernautic aspect. That is the pool of courage, of strength, of love. Go to it. This is the spirit of life that we may knock, batter and deride, but still there it stands. I got to the tears eventually. I hope you did too. Time for a well-earned break, I say. As I say, so it shall be. Amen. Kiss, 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 kiss. Boobies. Breathing boobies. There is nothing so restful and plaintive as a woman's heart breathing through her boobies. The size doesn't really matter. Breathing boobies. The bosom of the world. The heart of the world beats in the boobies. Boobs! I love boobs! But I love the heart of women more. Heartless boobies are no good. Boobies with heart, that's where it's all at. The caring, supportive boobie. Tits! Tits are fickle and indecisive, regardless of their size and colour. Chaffinch, greater-chested boob, freckled boob, spotted boob, bluebies, boobies. From the sublime to the golden delicious. Political, world-saving polemics to boobs. It all makes sense. Breathing boobs. That's enough. Lechery. See you in a minute, Mrs. Page. Comic relief. Relief. I have nothing left to say. This is usually a good place to say things from. It means the mind is quietening down so emotions and depth can have some time to have a chat. A heart to heart. If only my heart could speak directly. It has to go up through the vocal cords or round the back, bounce off the mind where the mind can step in and deny permission to speak. Then, if the mind grants the heart its parole, the heart can lucidly pop out of the mouth, usually in a blubbering way, but sometimes with such powerful words as to cause a landslide. The heart is dangerous, or so we have been told. People with heart can change the world. For parts and aspects of the world that wish to stay the same, the heart is a dangerous thing. The falsehoods love themselves so much they cannot tolerate the look of truth in the mirror. I should probably get back to the PSYCH WARD again. But why? I tell you for why. A couple of things. The people in their stories are incredibly rich with life and colour, even though they are trapped and secluded, sad and jaded, lost to the world. They are brilliant and shining, and they are human. Blessed are the PSYCH WARD attendees, for they shall be set free from bondage. Not all of them were set free. Some will die of old age in there. Some did die of old age in there, or died shortly after being released. Some will get out and then go back in. Some will be on medication until the day they die. And they may be 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 24, 77 years old at present. I am one of the lucky ones. Mark, tall Mark, Zen Mark, had been in for 14 months on his previous visit. His current one was going to be 6 months or so. This is imprisonment without crime. This is physical punishment for mental crime. What the fuck? Did you know that a Section 3 can be extended indefinitely in chunks of 3 to 6 months? Let me say that a section is not a sentence. There is no crime. Sure, the inpatient may have committed crimes, But a mental health section is not a fixed term sentence with time off for good behaviour. Get this. Mark said quite lucidly, and I believe him, that the most recent reason for being admitted to Ward 12, Heatherwood Hospital, Ascot, was that he told his psychiatrist to fuck off. I'll tell his psychiatrist to fuck off right here. Fuck off. Right. There are many ways to look at the above little nugget of psych ward law. Let's look at a few viewpoints. 1. Mark was being himself. Didn't like whatever the psychiatrist was suggesting and vocalised it by saying, fuck off, mate. 2. Down the pub, this would be perfectly acceptable. Go pinch that girl's butt, Mark. Fuck off, mate. 3. Say it to a psychiatrist, a person with power and a deep investment in maintaining a sense of authority, and Mark is in trouble. 4. Mark is unwell and exhibiting disinhibited behaviour and no verbal self-control. This is a sign of his underlying psychosis, and therefore he is a danger to others and probably himself. He must be put in the psychiatric ward for his own protection and the protection of society at large. 5. I am scared of Mark. I don't like how he spoke to me. I am the doctor. He is the patient in this situation. He is not towing the line. His fuck off has hurt me. I will not stand for this. I need to tick a box. This is my revenge. 6. The doctor has all the power here. He wants me to take X, Y, Z medication, but I'm enjoying my state of mind. Also, I don't want to be forced to do anything I don't want to do. Fuck off. No, I won't take your meds. 7. Psychosis is a disease, a mental instability, a chemical imbalance in the brain that causes certain behaviors and verbalizations. It must be treated. Mark has psychosis. I know this because he has been diagnosed by a team of doctors and nurses in an interview designed to detect psychotic behaviors, verbalizations, and patterns of thought. I am in charge of his case, his file, and I have to make decisions in line with my call of duty, my duty of care, and my Hippocratic oath. 8. Mark needs to be sectioned because on the basis of his previously recorded diagnosis, I can see this fuck off as one of his symptoms. He needs to be sectioned because he is most definitely psychotic, as his file says, and he has told me to fuck off, which fits with his symptom profile. He needs to be sectioned because he needs treatment for this psychosis and he is resisting treatment. I have to judge that he is not capable of rational thought in line with his best interests, in line with my definition and decision about what his best interests are. 9. I want to be left alone. I wish these doctors and nurses and police wouldn't keep swarming around me and telling me what's wrong with me. If anything, there's something wrong with the world, especially if they think it's okay to gang up on people in this way and abuse positions of authority like this. If anything, I seem to be more alive, happy, and intelligent than the people in the world around me. 10. Fuck off, psychiatrist. You don't own me. You don't know my inner state. You have a rough guess at best. I could go on. Remember, all the above viewpoints are viewpoints. I made them up. I spoke them. They are not fact. They are subject to human error, distortion, etc. However, if you sense a truth to them, then make up your own mind. I'm drinking a beer and writing a book in a pub. Psych Ward 2. I don't want to be writing this anymore, but my task is urging me to press on. The fallacy is that we must continue. We must continue in this way. This is what we have always done. Press on with the dehumanization. It won't do it by itself. We could choose to see the whole institution of psychiatry as an example of intolerance on a grand scale. Intolerance of states of mind. There are many ways to view mental health conditions. Why must we continue to view and respond to them in the same old worn-out ways? There is no must here. The fallacy is the must. But what do I know? I'm a psychiatric inpatient now. No one listens to me. Luckily, my views are all a symptom of my disease. Luckily for who? What about the doctors who care? Independent of their job description, protocols and pay packets, mortgages, wives, kids and degrees? Go get a degree in compassion first, then go get your medical degree. That was aimed at the doctors who only care because it is their job. This last session has wasted me. I got stuck in the PSYCH WARD diatribe again and I can't pull out by choice. The fallacy is that you have no choice. I was staying at Jazz on Lenox in Harlem, New York City, New York, USA. There I met an Egyptian American man. He had an Egyptian American accent. He followed the Islamic faith. We had a discussion about his kebab. Don't make no jokes now about his slaverage. He had chosen chicken, halal. I said, "What have you got there?" He said, "Chicken kebab, halal." We were friends, although he seemed to hold himself in higher regard than I did. "I think we're on the same page," he said, generally. Speak for yourself, I thought. There are few people who are on the same page as me, especially you. There is no possible way for you to be on the same page as me, for I wrote this long ago from your perspective, and I am off on a new page somewhere else, or dead. I said, chicken halal. Why chicken halal? Or words to that effect. He said, I made that choice when I signed up to the religion. You what? Your choice, however many years ago, carried forward through time and arrived 20 minutes ago when you chose to buy a chicken kebab. You what? Is there such thing as spontaneous or new thought-based choices then? You are spontaneously, repetitively choosing to recreate a choice you made many years ago. You chose this chicken kebab 20 minutes ago, not 20 years ago. This is madness. Fine if you want to choose to honor a rule to eat only halal meat, but don't lie to me nor yourself by thinking you no longer have any power to choose differently if you so desire. My house will probably be bombed by extremist terrorists for writing that. So be it. An atomic bomb, if you please. I find it clears the air. It'll probably do my book sales a word of good. A decimated world. Why does no one talk of Hiroshima, World War I, World War II, the War on Terror, the countless so-called minor conflicts still going on in so many different countries? Do a Google search for how many wars are going on in the world at the moment. If you find the right page, you'll be shown a map. It displays quite clearly who is fighting whom. There are a lot of wars still going on, ones you wouldn't have even heard of, in countries you didn't know existed. There will be no World War III. World War III is now. The world is at war with itself already. If anything, there will be a World War IV. It only counts if big enough people from big enough countries say, this is officially a world war. And then they'll probably only say it after they win, whoever they are. There are never any winners in any war. There are only differently damaged losers. Many, many, many losers. War is for losers. Peace is for livers. People who want to live. People who want to live, if not in harmony, then in acceptance and tolerance of others. From the viewpoint of the sun, we are all sprinkles of hundreds and thousands on its third meal of the day. I'm going to crack on again tomorrow. Food for thought. Num, 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 num. Chomp. 10th of the 11th, 2016. Every now and then, silence can become oppressive in itself. Hence the need for police sirens. 11th of the 11th, 2016. So here we are in the Journal of a Madman again. I'm writing at home in my room, so be prepared that shit could get deep and scary. I'll try to qualify what I mean by that. When I'm by myself and there are no distractions, I am able to get more deeply and clearly into what happened to me. There is no Mr. Shouty here to provide an entertaining alternative to sharing ugly truths and beautiful stories of tragedy and human suffering. How can stories of tragedy and human suffering be beautiful, I hear you ask? Because they are real. They have the power to help you as a reader to connect with the healing force within you. They help you to see the plight of humanity more clearly, which is a place from which you can more readily take compassionate, courageous action. How can you do anything to help if you don't really know what's going on? That's how they're beautiful. Also, they're beautiful because these people are often sweet, funny, flawed, and generally human. There is a lot less fakery among psychiatric inpatients regarding their pain and distress than there might be in the average workaday person. You yourself may feel anxious, depressed, fearful, angry a lot of the time, or even some of the time, and not feel able to tell anyone the truth about how you feel and why. If you know why you feel how you feel, which is not always clear, especially if you are well skilled in hiding your feelings from others. You may also be well skilled in hiding your feelings from yourself. Now, get this. You may also be well skilled in hiding the fact that you're hiding your feelings from yourself and others. Denying that you deny, if that makes sense. I've lost where I was going with this. This could be seen as just another way for me to pussyfoot around a difficult topic in an abstract way. We're coming to the heart of the book now, by the way. I don't know how long this section will last or what form it will take. This book is evolving as I write it. There is no set plan, as you might have gathered. I didn't feel up to going to Starbucks either today or yesterday. I felt pooped. I mean, I don't know if you felt it, but the recent passages calling for us to stand up and create a better world, and the discussion of Zen Tool Mark and his fuck off to the psychiatrist were quite powerful. At least to me they were. I'm really sick of the fakery, of the disconnection. I'm sick of the fact that no matter how connective our technology has become, the technology of our human hearts, human depth, feeling, love, compassion, honesty, truth-telling, is chronically undeveloped and malnourished. When are we going to shift away from the paradigm of technology can solve all our problems? I hate this belief because not only is it untrue, it is damaging and fracturing the social and relational aspect of our world. I also hate the fact that the news has become a horror film. We feel as helpless to do anything about the state of the world as we would about trying to help a victim in a horror movie. It's a movie, so it doesn't count anyway. I'm really sorry if you thought this book was going to be all fun and jaunty forever with me overusing the word crevice and talking about silly words all the way through. Or maybe you're glad that I'm starting to touch on some serious issues for once. However, I am a little scared of these serious issues myself, and there probably will be more bouncing around into frivolity, partly because that's one way to stay sane, but also because it's easy to get mired in rehashing traumatic events and then also getting over serious about how and why the world needs changing. There is also an unfortunate element to this book for me in that it's never going to be one of those standout pieces of great literature, as it is very time-based and therefore not timeless as such, although if I've done anything right, some parts will endure after the conditions change in the world, and my world. How can an author expect to write something that will be as relevant to readers today as it will be to readers 300 years from now? It's impossible, especially when we're talking about the specifics of the mental health system. However, human suffering, human stories, and the human condition is something that is likely to remain relevant. So tackling these stories and presenting them truthfully in an offering to help heal humanity's deep wounds in itself may well prove to have some longer lasting value. Oh well, the earth will one day be swallowed by the sun. In the meantime, let's see what we can get up to in these pages, eh? I realise I haven't said anything lately, I've been waffling. I thought about possibly explaining why I call him Zen Tool Mark. Maybe since I've already told you a bit about him, I should start to describe a bit about his story, his character, and our friendship. Yeah, so Mark, why tell you about him? Is he a curiosity? A fascinating piece of psych ward lore? A piece of trivia with which to entertain you? Something you can put over there and say, I'm glad I didn't meet him, or I wish I'd met him too. Something to idolize in either good, bad, or neutral ways. Oh, Mark is such a great character. Or, oh, Mark, what a bad person. He deserved to be locked up. Or, that Mark guy would have been better in the story if he'd killed someone or something. It would have made it more interesting. I really don't want you to treat the characters in my story as you would treat characters in a novel, loving, hating, wishing justice for them, etc. There is no overarching narrative point to these people. They are not moving the story forward. The interactions I had with these people are largely completely inconsequential in the overall scheme of things. They had no bearing on my case at all. They had nothing to do with when I was let out. They barely had any impact on my emotional state itself. I lived in an observing, helping role most of the time, when I was up and about. I'd go up to people, gaze lovingly at them, and listen to them talking their nonsense at me. But there is a problem here with telling the story of Mark. Basically, as soon as I start getting into nitty gritty details talking about this one person, it feels like the whole time period from when I was 17, 18 to the age of about 26 is implied, possibly even 27. If I tell you about Mark laying on a double-seater cream leather sofa positioned in a corner of one of the corridors, then I'll have to tell you absolutely everything that got me there in order to have it make sense. Unfortunately for you and for me, I can't. It's unfortunate for us both because I would desperately love to be able to tell this story in detail and in immaculate chronological order, but I can't. It's too massive an undertaking, and it would probably be boring too. So you're going to have to stick with this shaggy dog story, rambling style, with me tossing your shaggy dog brain a few bones from time to time. I feel like right at the end of all this gumph, I might be able to put together a nice, fairly coherent summary story for you. How about that, huh? Don't count on it though. Don't be making me responsible for your mind space again, damn it. My parents did enough of that to be getting on with. I don't need you doing it to me too. See how I tossed out a little bone there? A little factoid? A little nugget of information? One that explains why I've been a bit untrustworthy of you? A nugget that explains why I've been a bit cagey with letting my pen be dictated by my perception of what you want from me as an autobiographical author. Why do you think I bounce around so much? I have to. If I always say the expected word and go with the expected way of telling the story, then my whole life will be determined by the expectations of others. One way I regain a sense of power, however limited, is by not meeting the expectations of others. If I continue to do actions that are essentially ways to get approval from my parents or society or my friends, or my boyfriend, which I don't have anymore, thank fucking God, my girlfriends or one night standers, if I do everything as a way to fulfill some expectation on me, then who am I? I am basically an expectation fulfilling robot with no mind, no will, no intelligence, no courage, no morality of his own. Also, I forget things a lot. That's one thing that living in the moment will do for you. Partly because no particular line of thought or belief system or emotion is that important overall. You surge through them, enjoying the good bits, accepting the painful bits, and ride the wave of life. That involves being spontaneous, being able to let go of thought trains rather than having to finish them. It's how I've quite happily not finished any of the trains of thought I presented in this most recent section. Ha! Mark! What about his section, eh? How did that make you feel? Oh, I really should tell you more about Mark, but there's too much to tell. We played pool. How about that? You don't care. You've probably played pool and poker before. What does it matter to you that I played pool on a full-sized pool table in the dining or games room nearly every day I was incarcerated without charge in hospital? What does it matter to you, really? Does it matter to you? It depends how numb you are. I have been pretty fucking emotionally numb in my time. It's a shame in some ways that we don't have the same level of conscious awareness when we're babies as we do when we're adults. If you have a reasonably kind set of parents, that is. If you had conscious awareness as a baby in one of those neglectful or baby abusing families, I can imagine that as being hell on earth. Being abused and neglected, malnourished as a baby, with the supreme helplessness of being tiny and unable to do anything about it. Yuck. But let's think for a moment about how cool it would be to be a baby, a reasonably happy, well-treated baby, with conscious awareness and self-reflective and memory-making capacities. So cool. So cool, man. Look at all these colours and sounds. I've never seen these before. I'm used to dark black and a little red. Sure, birth wasn't great, but I reckon I'm over it now. Look at all this blurry, moving coloured stuff. Or is it black and white to begin with? Anyway, look at it all moving about. Woo! This is the best movie ever! Ooh, we've got some interesting sensations coming along. Ooh, what's that interesting feeling in my stomach? Ooh, that's different. I've never had that before. Blech. Pukes. Oh, that's what that is. Cool, this is amazing. Oh, I'm all tuckered out from all these new experiences. I'm having a nap. Does anyone contest me? No. Cool. Snores. Awesome. I love being a baby. I am totally dreaming of the womb tonight. Ah, so many memories. Imagine if you could remember back to being a baby from your adult perspective and recall that sense of fascination, wonder, joy, and excitement. The ability to puke wherever you want, on whomsoever you please. The ability to cry as loudly as your little lungs can stand, wherever you want. Apart from the limitations of physical movement, that is ultimate freedom, isn't it? Literally, within your sphere of ability as a baby, you can do whatever the hell you want and no one can say jack to you. Because you're a baby. Awesome. Not to mention pissing and shitting whenever you feel the urge. Awesome. Ease, comfort, simplicity, expression. Awesome. People often lament their childhood, but what about their babyhood, huh? Huh? Exactly. I'm sat next to a pregnant lady today, just so you know. Wink. Right, so let's get back to the evil of the psych ward. The evil. Well, let's talk about Mark. Zen Mark. Tall Mark, as arbitrary as it is. Let's go through a minute or so of psych ward inpatient interaction for the hell of it, because I remember it. It has no point, but it happened, so let's watch and not learn anything about anything. I was probably looking for him, walking around the endless, samey corridors, which, even having stayed there for over 2 months, I never managed to map well enough internally to get somewhere I wanted to first time. Except for the dining or games room. That was central enough, and there was food there. If you were lost, as we all were, you could always follow the smell, or just stay put and eventually someone with a clipboard would come find you. I was probably walking around looking for him. He had a big laugh. He was big in general, a bit tubby, and very tall. He had cauliflower-looking ears and looked a bit like Shrek, but taller. Not green, similar teeth and face, but his head was slightly too small to look right on his big lumbering body. Poor guy. That isn't a very flattering description. Oh well, I'm a psychiatric inpatient now. I can say anything I want and it really is of no consequence, so I may as well have fun with it. I walked around. I presume I wanted to play a game of pool or so. It was really the only thing worth doing other than attempting to relearn the piano and later the guitar. I found that pool playing was slightly more happiness inducing than lying in bed all day, trying to sleep or comatose myself against the intense depression, despair, and helplessness that was my constant state of mind. So, where's Mark? Let's play some pool. That might make me laugh and have some fun, and that will probably be better. Being depressed, suicidal, and laughing while playing pool is marginally better than being depressed and suicidal by itself. The laughter also provides something good to be depressed and suicidal about afterwards. Now it's gone. Loss. Everything was in a constant state of loss. My words were uttered into the air, then lost, blown away by some psychological breeze and lost. The pool games, when they were finished, that was another experience lost forever. Gone, done, over, lost, destroyed by time. My experiences, good and bad, all of it was continuously being destroyed, arising, then dropping away. They still are, but I care a lot less about it now. Now my experience flows, and there is a changeless core to my being in which all these experiences, good and bad, come and go. The awareness is pretty much seamless. There are not really separate events in time anymore. It's one continuous flow of experience. Awareness flows about without getting too hooked on anything. When my mind does get hooked into and tangled up with something, I notice it. It hurts. I have in fact been having some of those same, oh, impermanence is terrible thoughts again lately. But nowadays I'm able to sit behind them more and observe. Oh, that's interesting. I'm having that thought again. Haven't had that thought in a while. I must be getting a little depressed. Oh, that's all right. I let little bits of depression come and go too. Watch it, feel it, and it dissolves pretty quickly, even though it's annoying when it's there. Zen, 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 zen. Ah, there's Mark. He's lying on a cream leather sofa, feet up on the far end and poking over, head up on the near end. He's staring at his feet, eyes open, as is helpful when staring. I try to get his attention. Hey man, you alright? Let's play some pool. He carries on staring at his feet, not even blinking. Well, not that I noticed anyway. What are you up to, man? I may have asked a couple of times before getting a response, but finally he woke up from the daze. I'm zenning out, man, he said. He may well have said zenning in. I can't remember. Whether he was doing it in or doing it out, he was zenning. Fine. He wanted to carry on zenning. No pool. Nuts. Back to bed then. Sad, depressing, suicidal. I was getting these side effects. Now I've started that sentence, I feel compelled to finish it. The fallacy is that we must continue. There is no must here. As completely as my Section 3 of the Mental Health Act 1983/2007 compelled me to stay on the ward behind locked doors and bolted, screwed down windows, such is the level of freedom I now have to not stay writing about it. You can go to hell, dear reader, if you want more than I can give. Life has raped me in various ways, including rape of sorts. I'll be damned if I'm going to let your need to know more rape my pen and heart any further. I got persecuted for tickling a girl and saying, "What? It's not like I'm raping you." She had been raped by someone in the past. I wasn't to know. Later that evening, she slapped me in the face and kneed me hard in the balls. This is physical punishment for verbal crime. Fuck off, that's not fair. Being psychotic is an extremely vulnerable state of mind to be in. There is a sense of innocence to some psychotic states. We don't know what we are doing and how it may be deemed inappropriate. Usually verbal inappropriateness, but we don't know. We are psychotic, detached from reality, however that may be defined. Reality, as I learned from my experience of psychosis, is simply defined as whatever the person in front of you can tolerate or accept as reality. The truth is as objective as we believe it to be. If it doesn't fit a well-known schema, it is not real. Psychic powers are not real in the mind of science because they do not yet have an explanation to underpin their validity.